What's up, everybody? My name is Tim Ruswick, and today we're talking about marketing and business advice for your first studio. This is going to be not traditional type of video. It's not going to be more like one of those videos that you watch on YouTube. It tells you should go on forums and post, or you should go on Twitter and post this and use these hashtags. I have a bunch of actionable stuff. It's in my playlist, Indie Game Marketing and stuff like that. You can check that link down in the description. I'll put the link up there. This is more of a general overarching concept. So I have, for those of you that don't know, I run a development studio. Well, it's not, I wouldn't really call it a studio, but it's more like a freelance business where I make games and software for hire. And I occasionally have people that I reach out to that I use to get some of the work done. So for example, I don't do all the work myself. Sometimes I hire people for programming, hire people for art, hire people for music, that kind of stuff. So I end up with sometimes a lot more work, and I usually don't do most of the work. I have other people. So while I don't have any employees, I kind of run like a semi studio that can scale up or scale down depending on how much work we have at any point in time. And it's cool. It's not necessarily something that I want to do personally, but I've learned a lot by running that. And before that, I ran my marketing company, and before that, I started I think 4 or 5 different startup companies that were all failures that made $0. So starting a bunch of companies, making $0, starting a marketing company, growing it for a couple of years, selling it, and then running freelance software development, game development business has kind of taught me a lot about running successful businesses, about actually making money, about bringing in more than you spend, about just basic stuff, right? And I've taken in a lot of books. I read a lot of books. I taken video courses. I've done a lot of stuff. So I've, at the same time that I built that experience, I've kind of inhaled a lot of the same knowledge. And what I've noticed, number one thing that I've noticed with the books and the knowledge and the Google and all this stuff, which is great. It's great. You can learn a lot on your own. That's how I learned everything that I know is on Google. But people want the tactics. They want the easy button. They want the, how do I do? Tell me what to do and I'll do it. That's what they want, right? That's what everybody wants. And if I were to make a video titled how to make $1 million selling your video game, that would do very well. But one, I haven't been there. I don't know how to do that. Two, if anyone has been there and has done that, I guarantee you whatever they put in that video will not be applicable to everyone's game. And even if you follow exactly what they did to a T, you will not get the same results. Sometimes you get similar results, sometimes you won't, but you definitely will not get the exact same results because tactics change over time. What you do, the physical act of what you do changes. Technology changes, right? You can look up an article on marketing 10 years ago or 5 years ago. It's going to tell you, yo, get on Facebook. Facebook pages are where it's at. It's all about, you read something from 2 years ago, they'll say, get on Instagram, pay some influencers, make it happen. And while all those things, sure, they're true. Technically, they were true at the time they were written. They don't work as well anymore. Facebook pages, the reach is horrible. Instagram paying influencers, there are Instagram ads now. So it doesn't work as well. They've added an algorithm to Instagram. Instagram is not as effective as it was just 2 years ago. So those are just examples of actual specific tactics that are no longer relevant. And the problem is the stuff that goes online is there permanently. The blog posts, the videos like these, stuff like that. So if you upload a tactics video, and you put something out there, someone else is going to watch it 2 years, 5 years down the line, or whatever it is, and they're going to be like, oh, well, that worked for him, I'm going to do it. And then you end up with these people that just do the same shit that other people did, thinking they should get results, and then they don't. And so the point of what I'm trying to make in these last 3 minutes of ranting is that I could tell you the specific things I did in the successes I've had in my life. And I can tell you step by step exactly what I did, and you can repeat those steps and you would not get the same results. So that. I just want to put that out there. So that being said, how do I give advice to people? How do I help people? How do I share knowledge with people that want to improve their businesses? They want to run a company in game development or software development. They want to maybe do some freelance work. Like, what can I actually say if everything I say becomes outdated? And I'll tell you what, my ability to pay attention to things, I think has been amazing in everything that I've done. And what I mean by paying attention is this. There are things that happen in life. They happen to you, they happen around you. There are thousands of different communities that you can go down a rabbit hole on the internet, right? You can end up on a forum, you can end up in a subreddit, you can end up all these different places that you didn't even know exist. And there are thousands of people in any one of those spots that right now you don't know exist. And in order for you to actually successfully market a product to a consumer, to actually sell someone something, whether like if you want to make games and you need somebody to pay you to make a game, and that's your business model, you need to find the people willing to pay to make games. And some of those people hang out in different communities online, right? And my ability to just kind of pay attention to what is going on, where people are hanging out, what works, what doesn't, I think that has been the reason that I was able to do some of the things that I've done. So, for example, when I started all of my different startup idea companies, they weren't really companies because they never made revenue, but they were more like just web applications that I would build with the idea to start a startup, right? And the problem was with those was that I started technology first. I thought that the product was the answer, and a lot of game developers are in the same boat. They think that their game is the answer. If they make the great game, then the great game sells well. Better games sell better than worse games, and so on and so forth. And that's not necessarily true. So one of the important things that I think has kind of taught me in going through all this stuff, failing so many times in a company, then actually building a company and being halfway successful with it, and then actually being able to run something and make more money than I spend, basically, I think it should be the goal of any business owner out there. Like, I don't think you shouldn't be going for $1 million. You shouldn't be going for, number one hit on iTunes or Steam. You should be going for, hey, how can I make more money than I spend? Boom. That's it. That's the goal, right? So once you set the goal, you pay attention. You do something. You see if it works. If it works, you keep doing it. If it doesn't work, you stop doing it. And this can get, like, there are different timelines too, right? Like, you can't just do something for a week, see if it works. Sometimes you got to give it longer time periods. Like with YouTube, I dedicated I was going to dedicate 6 months to it first. And so I did 3 months of weekly videos and 3 months of daily videos. And daily videos worked so much better that I decided to keep going. And now this is month 11 of daily videos, because the YouTube was just such a better vehicle for the message that I wanted to get across, for the community I want to build, for the epic, amazing game developers out there. It's just, for some reason, this platform worked better for me than any other platform I tried. And a lot of people don't know this, but I tried blogging for years on Game Dev Underground. I had an email list since 2013. I had the site. I had all kinds of tools and stuff on the site. I was trying to market in every different way. And it wasn't until YouTube that the community really started picking up. And so if you're in that situation, if you're in the situation where nobody cares, where nobody's listening to you, where nobody wants to buy what you're selling, you need to pay attention. You need to pay attention to what people are doing, not what they're saying, what they're doing, and the people that are getting results. So don't just look at all the game developers on #GameDev and Twitter. Don't just like, oh, that game developer is doing this, that game developer. No, like, pay attention to the people that are actually doing the thing. What are they doing? Like, what platforms are they on? What kind of things do they say? Like, what kind of games do they make? Is there a thought process behind it? Do those things and try them out. Do they work? Yes or no? If they work, keep doing them. If they don't work, stop doing them. Like, do something new. Try out different variations. Don't get stuck in the same loop over and over again of doing the same thing over and over. I know a lot of people that wake up, they go to work, they come home, they watch TV, then they go to sleep. And that's their whole cycle. That's the cycle that they live in every single day. And if you get stuck in that loop, You can never break out. You can never be an entrepreneur. You can never make stuff happen. You will just be in that loop over and over again. So you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to the outside world, what's happening, what platforms are disrupting other platforms, but you also have to pay attention to yourself. Like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I'm spending 6 hours of my time doing this. I'm spending 2 hours of my time doing this. Why is that? What's happening there? What am I gaining out of this interaction? Why is this person in my life? Like, what value are they adding to my life? Why am I doing this thing on the internet? Just pay attention. And I know that sounds so like it's not sexy. It's not like the greatest tip of all time for business and marketing and all that stuff, but just paying attention to the details and the numbers and asking why things are the way they are. Like, why do I do things, right? And this is something that really was reinforced, like, after I posted about the depression video. Like, people brought it up to me, actually, and I started going back to my journal, and I started realizing that a lot of the things that I'm doing aren't making me happy, and I'm just doing them because I've always done them. And this has happened in so many different ways. And once I started asking myself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing it? That's when it started revealing itself to me that, like, maybe I shouldn't do that. What happens if I don't do that? What happens if I change things up? What happens if I do things differently? And I think that has ultimately worked out well for me. It's given me more freedom, and it's given me the ability to kind of do the things that I want to do, and have a little more fulfillment in life, I think. So as far as business goes, this has been like a weird rambly video, but basically what I'm trying to say is just pay attention to yourself. Pay attention to the things that you do. Pay attention to things that other people do. Pay attention to what works. Pay attention to what doesn't work, and adjust accordingly. I think there's an old, when you think about a military, the saying is like ready, aim, fire, right? And I think while that might apply to weapons or guns, I don't think that applies to business or game development or any kind of creative pursuit where you need to convince other people to buy your stuff. I think it's fire, ready, aim. I think you fire first. I think you hit the ground running. I think you do the action. The action gets you ready, and then you figure out where you're going. I don't think anybody is ever ready. I don't think there will ever be a point where you are aimed on target perfectly, and I don't think that you can ever calculate the correct path. I think you got to do a bunch of shit. You got to figure out what works, and then you got to keep doing that. And I know that sounds super general and super vague, but that's the only real concrete thing that I feel like I can offer without getting into tactics that expire over time. If you can learn and you can master that, the art of paying attention and just doing a bunch of stuff and keep doing what works and stop doing what doesn't. If you could just do that, it's only a matter of time before you're successful, before you get there, before you are on your way to where you need to be. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please leave me a like and a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on this? I would love to hear them in the comment section. But my name is Tim Roswick, and I'll see you again tomorrow.